Mic check. Let's get it right. Okay. Make sure my light. Make sure y'all see me. Let's go. Yes, sir. We on to something. We on to something. Okay. Let me get right. Make sure y'all see me. Make sure y'all get a good. So the lightness right. Make sure my voice right. Okay. There we go. We back. All right. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back to Dissect the Dialogue. Y'all should know me by now. Y'all should see the name. Y'all see the title. Let's get to the shit, shall we? Let's begin. Where do we start? Where could we begin? First off, I'm gonna turn it down for it. Now, I have a lot to discuss. First of all, I know some of y'all are probably thinking, "Oh, why didn't he drop his at what he be usually dropping?" I need a new computer. Okay, I don't think y'all understand what I'm working with, but if y'all ever had like Microsoft HPs or whatever, you understand when you have for a long time and you put a lot of storage in them from the past or whatever, past stuff. Sometimes it gets too much to handle. Meaning, sometimes it could be slow to boost up. Sometimes when you first start up looking for stuff, sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it almost works like them old computers, them old monitors that they used to have us on with the big backs, the ones that we used to have in school. Sometimes it acts like that, you know. Other times it just doesn't want to flat out work, and it sucks because not only do I work on here, but I also do my content on here, and that's not just with the videos and all that. I mean, some music too. Part of it, I do some music on here. Let me take that back. I do some music on here. But yes, I'm trying to get it better. Y'all hook me up. I might start a GoFundMe page to get a better working system. But y'all help me out. But no. But yeah, that was why I didn't really drop when I usually drop. But you know, we'll get there. We'll get there. But not only that, I see everybody getting ready for Thanksgiving and all that. I already see all the turkey coming out and all that. But it really brought me to a main point that I want to discuss now. Growing up, right? Especially around the time of Thanksgiving, how we were taught, family thing, everybody comes together, you know, eat a bunch of food, overpriced food that you could have got back in like March and like, just keep that stored away, just buying a whole bunch. Anyway, I'm going over the top. But, everybody, we all get together, we all sit and talk, embrace on the good times, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. But the thing of what I always didn't really like is that, type of family I grew up in, like most big Sunday dinners are just dinners like a Thanksgiving. Soul food was a staple in our community. It was like everybody has their cuisine. Italians, they have their cuisine. Asians have their cuisine. Hispanics, their cuisine, etc., etc. And then we have what we call soul food, right? Now, a lot of people are always confused on what it is. What does it consist of? I'm still, well, I'm still wondering, like, exactly if it's necessary to have or not, but people always want to know what it is. Now, it says soul food is an ethnic cuisine originated in southern U.S., historically pertaining to African Americans. It originated from the cuisines of enslaved Africans trafficked to the Northern American colonies through Atlantic slave trade during the Antebellum period, and is closely associated with cuisine of the South. The term came from the mid '60s when soul was a word to this was a common word describing Black American culture. Now, its techniques and ingredients were derived from West African, Central African, Western European, and indigenous culture of America. I think that's interesting. It came from the blending of what Black Americans ate in their native countries and what was available to them as slaves. So, yeah, there we go. So, for those that need a refresher. So, and I don't want to say all Black Americans were descendants of slaves, but as far as the gist of the concept, what I was taught, what it was, right, was that the slaves, after they were done working, right, their superiors, I'm not going to say masters, I'll say their higher ups and superiors, would always eat good when, from hunting, whatever. And they would have some parts of, I don't want to say scraps, but I'll just say like the portions of food that the superiors didn't really like or didn't really want to mess with. So they said, hey, let them have it. It's not like they ate anything all day. And it was like, I mean, the worst part of a part of an animal, just different scraps and bits and pieces, or whatever. But us being so, magical and creative, we decided to make good of make more of what was less per se. And that was the concept of soul food, which is a pretty cool concept. You take the stuff that what people would call throwaway stuff or just, the necessarily bad stuff, but then make it something totally different and edible in a sense. So that's the concept of soul food, right? Now, here's where it gets a little bit touching. How it was started, I understand the concept of it. I understand that it was something embedded in our DNA that this is what we grew up eating. So whatever, it's just, take it as it is, right? But if you really think about some of the types of foods that was considered soul food, it's really not that good for you in the long run. And like I've said before, it was what the slaves ate. It's what they consumed. I mean, just because they had no choice but to consume that, right? So the reason why I say that is because a lot of times when people eat this, their body kind of has other plans in a way. And I noticed that with this type of cuisine, especially if you don't really have a nice diet to balance it out, you'll see where that fat back or those chitlins or that tin cheese, mac and cheese, whatever stuffing is going to go type of thing. It just seems to me, it just seems kind of damaging to us. Don't get me wrong. I do think that let me say this. I don't think soul food is all the way bad. I just think the people that consume it, and because it's a frequency too, like it could depend on the people that make this type of food could also harbor some bad stuff to it. Just because it's soul food doesn't mean it's necessarily good for you. But I mean, do we need? Is it overrated? Is soul food overrated? Do we really need it? Just because something is in our history, do we really have to embed it in us? Now, what are the foods that are? Because people are asking like, what type of foods? Now, like the ones I mentioned, fat by chitlins, you got that. I know cornbread's considered that. Um, yams. Everybody loves yams. Oyster, crab, shrimp. You know, basically all those types of stuff that's in there. Dressing, ranch dressing. Always gonna have. Of course, they won't. You gotta mix your vegetables, but then they mix the vegetables with some of the pork stuff in there, and it kind of messes that up. But yeah, you got all that mixed up together. So I mean, again, I'm not just gonna straight up say soul food is terrible. I mean, I think whatever you put in your body, and you don't do nothing about it. And if there's a bad frequency to it, I think that's what makes it bad. I think that's what it is. But there's also they also soul food also had a bad run for being bad for health. They say they've been criticized for high starch, fat, sodium, cholesterol. It's kind of like you remember. I don't know if y'all remember this episode. Remember when Granddad from the Boondocks, he was trying to start his own soul food restaurant, and then Eddie wants to say he financed everything, and when he was naming all these um, stuff on the menu, I don't remember exactly what the meals were, but they were like crazy. They were crazy names and all that. And I think Huey, um, he wasn't with that at all. He like I don't know, he vegetarian or vegan, whatever he is. And I know he was like he got this one book from Elijah Muhammad saying like how to eat to live, and he was just saying how making a Big Mama the Soul Food reference, basically skimming through the whole movie, but just to say that Big Mama died because she was eating this crap, and then it's like um, Granddad was pretty much saying like this food is your culture. It's like this food is like being destructive. Or did it like flip it? Or maybe they said the food is like destroying or like destructive. And then Granddad was saying, this is your culture. And then Huey was saying, well, the culture is destructive. And then that kind of hit me when he said that. Because there's like a frequency in whatever is put in the word. Like I said, sometimes, I mean, shit, even like some of the food that's considered vegan isn't necessarily all the way good. So I'm not gonna sit here and straight up bash soul food just because you know there's his history of X, Y, Z. I think whatever you put in your body, if you have like good intentions with it and then there's a good frequency in it, I mean it could be I don't know the meatiest burger with like no vegetables. I don't think you're gonna have like high cholesterol. I think it's just more just like energy that you put in. Now, is soul food cuisine of the slaves? Like I said before, even though it was slave aided and they made it, I don't think it should be a thing where you should eat it all the time. I think sometimes us in the community feel like we gotta partake in this type of meal on a regular basis just because it's what our ancestors ate. Oh, what they did. This is what they ate. And I think another thing that kind of is kind of messed up, especially with that, when people try to make their own healthier versions of it, Uh, and I'll say this too: Black community often ridicules healthy food. Black community loves to shit on anybody that tries to do something in a healthy way because they'll try to say, "Oh, I don't have the money to afford it, but you can afford Jordans and designer clothes and cars that you can't afford and that you barely use. You can afford that, but you can't afford to eat healthy." So you got that problem. You got two, they can't read. Then three, you got this, Eurocentric thinking to where if something's healthy, then it has to be white. So sometimes maybe it not be cuisine of the slaves as far as the literal sense of a slave, like from back then, because like how their ancestors were. Sometimes it could be cuisine to keep your mind a slave. You think what you're eating is supposed to be good, and you're not supposed to work out, or you're not supposed to at least monitor what you eat, right? You think that's supposed to be the quote unquote black thing to do, just eat all this slop and not do nothing about it. But eating a fruit every once in a while, or having some greens, or not frying certain things instead of maybe grill it or bake it, that's considered like white. I think that's more like a slave thing to me. When I say cuisine of the slaves, it doesn't have to necessarily mean, oh, because my ancestors was this, so they have to eat that. I'm not going by that because that's like a cop out. Oh, because we eat this, oh, now all of a sudden I'm a slave. No, that's not true. Like I said, I still enjoy soul food. Don't get me wrong. I don't want people to think because I don't like it, you know, that I'm not going to partake in it. I still enjoy it. The problem is that I don't know what it is about us, adding a bunch of unnecessary stuff to it that's unhealthy. Like I'll probably post it as a short, but there's like old world star video on this soul food worker, right? And she had like some yams, just like a big tray of yams, right? I'll post it in the shorts. And she got like a big old thing of sugar and just dumping it all over. And looking at that, I done got type 6 diabetes looking at that screen. Like, but that's what I mean. Like, is that what we're gonna call soul food? That's what we call it? Because I don't really see it as something that hits my soul. It might take it. I don't see it as healing it at all. I don't see that type of food as healing to me. If that's what we were gonna call soul food, right? Plus, people like. Plus, first of all, I don't even know the last time they even been like a occasion where families got together and like sat together and ate on the table. I don't know the last time that even happened. People don't like to, you know, family will get together, but they not gonna sit at a table. They're just probably gonna eat on the couch. Some people gonna stand up. Few people might sit. You know. Then for some reason you always have those cousins that always smoke in the back or drink. The kids just being kids. So maybe it's not just about. I'd say it's more so my concept of soul food is to be able to bring a family together with this cuisine instead of because a lot of times the reason why I say this is there's no real family structure when it comes to it. And I think energy and frequency into whatever you put in your body means something. Because like I said, if a person makes something, whether food, whether even outside of food, just or writes a book, makes this room, makes a house. It's just if the frequency is bad, then everything about what you're gonna eat or what you're gonna listen to or what you're gonna live in is gonna be bad as well. So if we're gonna talk about whether soul food is not overrated. Is it overrated? Is it helpful? Is it not? I think it's based on the frequency, and especially what's going on right now. It's very low frequency. So I think the food might be low frequency as well. The drink might be low frequency. Everything that you might put in your body might be of low energy. Because there's no way you should eat that food and you should feel sluggish. Or in some cases, some people could eat certain type of foods and then get mad. I don't know if you ever seen. I mean, with those chicken, what was it? Those chicken sandwiches or something. I think someone had some bad juju on that shit because there's no way those people were trying to kill some workers over some chicken sandwich that probably got like tons of different shit. Probably not even. It's anything but 100% chicken. Probably got a whole bunch of other crap in it. But I think what I believe soul food to be to me is something that is beneficial and nourishment for the soul and body. That is what I was taught that it was. That is what I believe it to be. That's what I think it represents. And I think that's what everybody should strive to create when they make it. Because, like I said before, putting bad energy into what you make, you put that out there and people are going to embody that. You can't just force feed, you know, false energy and then expect people to believe it. It's like when someone is preaching good news, but then they have bad intentions, but because you don't want to say nothing about it, you still clap your hands, stomp your feet. That's what I see with soul food. If you know some of this stuff is not good for your health, if you know that if you eat too much of this, you're gonna feel sluggish, some of your parts of your body and your system might fail, and you still eat it, then it's kind of your fault because we all have the opportunity. Like I said, I kind of make the equivalent of you know if you're smoking weed, right? Some people smoke weed and they're chill. Some are happy, you know. But then other times there's negative. Some people, you know, get riled up. Some are paranoid. I've heard people say some people get paranoid with weed. So it's frequencies and everything. I think because the people that smoke weed when they're chill and happy, maybe they drink water or tea. Maybe they read books. Maybe they play games, play cards, or do something relaxing, meditate. Maybe that's why they're more chill. Whereas someone that smokes weed and they drink alcohol, want to try to have sex with whoever, do crack, that's bad frequency. That's what I think what soul food can mean to me if it's put in the right or wrong hands. You can make it the right way, and put love and care into it, or you could put anger, bitterness, and frustration into it. I think the people back then that was eating soul food, I think they had the pain, but they also had love. I think that's what they had. I think now, because I don't know, our community just it's just all over the place. We don't know how to function as a unit, so sometimes the soul food may not come out to be what I think what you think it might be. You might eat it, and all of a sudden you might start getting mad at one of your cousins for no reason. You didn't even know why. You didn't even know why you're mad. You're just mad. So that's what I think. What it is to me. That's what I think. What it is, and that's how I see it. I take it more so like that. But final thoughts. Soul food is a vital part in the Black American community. It was a way for us to connect. It was a way for us to exchange information, tell stories through the cooking. But in the grand scheme of things, we have to also monitor what we put in our body. But that's with anything. If you know something is not good for you, don't try to force to like it, or I don't know, get some forcing yourself to like something just because it's the cool thing to do. Like if you know something's bad, it's bad. But I think so with soul food as a concept, it should be treated like I said. Make it with love, make it with care, make it with tenderness, because it's gonna show to the people that consume it. You can see the difference. Like I don't know, maybe because I cook, I can see the difference in people's energy shift when you know I make food for them or whatever, and I can see the difference when I know that has kind of negative intentions to make food for them, and then I see how they act. So it's like it's a give and a take. I'll see it like that. It's a give and a take. And I noticed that you know if you tell people, if you tell someone elder, it's like, oh well, maybe you should try to do this more instead of focusing on, well, that's how we ate it. It's like you can't really tell them nothing. They're just gonna accept whatever. They don't know. They don't know. I don't even know if they don't know. They just don't care because they're just content to what they're used to eating. I know me personally that some stuff that I was eating that was considered soul food, I didn't even want to like. Don't get me wrong. I don't think I've never ate chitlins in my life. If you, for those that don't know what chitlins is, look that up. Then come back. Then come back in. Same thing with fatback. Look up what fatback is. And don't get me wrong. I'm not like one of those people that think they're too good to eat certain stuff and blah 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 or whatever. But I am monitoring certain things. Like, yeah, I'm not just gonna tell you like, oh, you're evil or you're a slave. And it's kind of reminding like how certain Muslims like they'll cheat on their wife, they smoke, they drink, they'll lie, they'll do a whole bunch of wicked stuff. But you give them a slice of pepperoni pizza, they'll think you're the scum of the earth. I'm not like that. I don't do that. I'm not that type of person. That's good. That's not. This is like not even about religion. This is not. It's not even about that. I say whatever frequency you give off, that's what comes with it. That's how I see soul food. I don't see soul food as a, oh, this is slave food. Oh, this is stuff for our ancestors. I don't want to be connected to that. It's nothing like that. I do embody that. I do think that is part of my culture in some ways, and I'll do my best to emulate it in a positive way, not in a negative way. That's how I take it. But that's all I'm gonna say. But thank y'all for tuning in. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe on my Spotify, Anchor, Apple, Amazon, all that. If you're not new, continue to share, continue to post. Everywhere. Like, share, tell a friend, tell a neighbor. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. But that's all I gotta say. Until next time, peace.